Hi, this is Jeffrey, and today I have another little piece of history from the Brighton Line. What I have here is a report from Congressman Chuck Schumer. New trains will run on the D line at last. Now, what this is actually is a letter that was sent out to all of his constituents in the 10th Congressional District in Brooklyn. And as you will see, this letter tells everybody that 225 new subway cars will arrive on the D line starting on April 11th, 1986. Now, this letter that I had received in the mail back then is not dated, but I believe it's from either late March or probably the first week in April of 1986. Now, I post this because I think it's a very interesting piece of history. You don't see these documents really anywhere. And a few days ago, I had posted another similar video about a petition that was circulated by Assemblyman Dan Feldman in Brooklyn to demand that the R-68s be restored to the Brighton Line because they were switched with the R-40s. And I do this because, first of all, this is an interesting document that gives detail on what had happened back then. And you don't really see these documents anywhere. So I may be the only one that still has these, I don't know. But I think it gives a lot of interesting detail on what had happened back in the 1980s and in the 1990s. So, with that in mind, let's take a look at this letter, which was a report mailed out to everybody in the 10th Congressional District in Brooklyn that new trains will run on the D line at last. And now I will read the text of the letter. New trains on D line. Dear friend, it's no secret that tens of thousands of residents of our community rely on the D train. For people along Ocean Avenue, Nostrand Avenue, Coney Island Avenue, and surrounding areas, the D train is the only reasonable way to ride to and from work. But as those commuters know, the D train is something less than reasonable. The line has become a graveyard for graffiti-splattered cars that are almost 2 decades old, as Dennis Dugan put it in a recent New York Newsday column. The R-42s are dirty, noisy, and dangerous. Colder than a refrigerator in the winter and hotter than a sauna in the summer. Well, that's strange because I remember the air conditioning being really great in the summer in the R-42s. Worst of all, the old trains are totally unreliable. Commuters must gamble every day on whether or not they'll get to work before lunch. And yeah, I remember the terrible, terrible service that existed on the D Brighton Line as well as the M Local back in the 1980s. I am happy to report that things will change. In large part because of federal mass transit aid, the D line will get a total of 225 air-conditioned, stainless steel new cars, enough to replace the vast majority of the old rotting ones. Beginning April 11th, the MTA will run new French-American R-68 cars, which are being assembled in the Brooklyn Navy Yard. Each new train is subject to a 30-day test period, during which it runs 24 hours per day. It will take up to 2 years to test all of the new cars, but before long, if all runs smoothly, all 225 cars should be in place. The fight for federal money for these trains was not an easy one. In these budget-slashing times, mass transit has congressional constituency that is all too small. But as the only New York City member of Congress on the House Budget Committee, I was able to make sure that the concerns of city residents were heard. Happily, the Budget Committee led the way last year in ensuring that money was allocated for mass transit. And every time MTA Commissioner Kiley called to thank me for helping gain mass transit funds, I had one reply: fix the D train. As the budget continues to tighten, I, of course, will continue fighting for the funds our city needs and deserves. Ensuring that other subway lines important to the 10th Congressional District are upgraded is now next on my priority list. For now, at least, D-train riders can feel more secure that they will get to work on time. So there you have it, the letter from then Congressman Charles Schumer on the new 225 R-68 cars that will be put in service on the D line starting April 11th, 1986. I hope you enjoyed this short little look back to the year 1986 when new trains will run on the D line at last. And look at that. They draw a picture that sort of looks like a Washington Metro car, a Washington Metro subway car. The front end looks like one of those. It's not as bad as what they did for the other video I posted where the petition letter had a European-styled LRV when they were talking about the R-68s and the R-40s. So, you know, I guess whoever puts these letters or other public relations materials together just doesn't know what a New York City subway car looks like. So I just had to point that out. So as always, thank you for watching and have a great day. Thanks. Bye.